I'm just going to wait a second here. Okay, I'm going to keep this one short and sweet. I'm supposed to keep my eye facing downward. I just got back from retinal detachment surgery today. Excellent staff and nurses where I went to. Yeah, I went to probably one of the better establishments here in Santo Domingo. Um, they were able to successfully reattach my retina, but I have to stay like this for 3 to 4 weeks and do follow-up visits. So this video is not about me though. It's about truck drivers and what we go through. So for us over the road truck drivers, and yes, the anesthesia still has not worn off. It's probably going to get a lot worse later. For us truck drivers, one of the biggest problems is if you're over the road is that if you have an unexpected medical emergency. I had a retinal detachment. It happened when I woke up. I guess it must happen when I was sleeping. And I had some information from some optometrists that, I might have problems with glaucoma, loss of vision in the future, because I've kind of had elevated eye pressure for a while. When you're out on the road, there's all types of things that can happen. You can have something like happened to me, retinal detachment. You could roll an ankle. You could have a heart attack, stroke, medical emergency. And you're probably not going to be parked next to some top tier medical facility. And even if you're able to drive, you probably have to drive a while, find a place to park the truck, find a way to get over there. And then if you go into a hospital or urgent care and you need to stay for long, who's going to move the truck? Who's going to, it provides a whole list of problems. And for those of us who do it, much respect, but it is something that comes with the job. You have to understand that there are places out there in the United States of America and in Canada where, you're driving around and it might be scenic, you might be at a rest area, and that rest area might be a little bit in the middle of nowhere. It might be, on the side of the road at a pullout, nice, beautiful, but, something happens to you out there. If you get sick, you get hurt. I mean, how many of us cook in the truck? If you cut yourself really bad, you're just out, hey man, I'm gonna, chop up some onions, I'm gonna make myself, a cheeseburger tonight and some fries, and you're chopping up the onion, you just cut your finger. You're in that truck. And if you're in a rest area somewhere out on I-10 in Arizona in the middle of nowhere, and now you're bleeding real bad, what are you gonna do? So this is something that myself and many over-the-road truck drivers have to deal with, basically every day. And it's difficult. It's really difficult. It's not easy to accept the role of knowing, hey, I'm out here on my own, I'm trying to provide for my family, I'm trying to do a service for my country, and you're basically, every day, you're at risk because you are not close to solid healthcare facilities. And we all know how easy it is for these things to happen. You could have a problem with your tooth and you need a root canal. You know how painful that can be. And it's like, well, I got to drive the truck now. I got to find a dentist. You can't park your truck in front of the dentist. I've sprained my ankle before out on the road. Some of us have to climb in the back of the trailers to unload. Even though you might say, oh, well, it was work, so, my job will cover the expenses. Yeah, but, are they going to cover for you to drive to the facility and the time off that you might need and where you're going to park the truck and the ticket that you might get? So unfortunately, this is something that we have to deal with. And, today was a good example. I'm actually kind of fortunate that this happened to me because I have been to the optometrist and I have been getting this information for about the past 2 years that, I have these issues with pressure in my eyes. And luckily I wasn't on the road and I was able to get down to a facility where they were able to take care of it. But, for you drivers out there, I know you go through this and, it always would be in the back of my mind, like whenever I would be in the truck and I would be, cutting something, to eat on the cutting board, I'd always think like, really, really be careful. Don't cut your finger because if you do, and it's bad, you got at least probably an hour to 2 hours before you find a reputable facility because it's probably going to be on your break, so it's probably going to be at night, so you're probably going to have to go to the hospital, right? And it's like you have to be able to park there, so it's like, these are the things that we have to deal with, and it's sometimes it's a little scary, you know what I mean, being out there on your own. I remember just when I was in West Texas, just West Texas alone, they have tarantulas out there, rattlesnakes, and like if a rattlesnake bites you, you have a limited amount of time to get to proper facility. And these are the dangers of being out on the road. So anyway, just want to talk about it. It's kind of appropriate today because I'm going to be healing up a while. I have to go back tomorrow. They did successfully reattach that quadrant on my retina. So hopefully if all goes well, if I do my follow-ups and keep my head down, I should be able to have 20/20 vision again in this eye with corrective lenses. I still have corrective lenses, so I'm hoping for the best with that. But shout out to all the truck drivers who make those sacrifices out there, because I know you guys know, it's not just doing the job. You also have to remember, you're on your own out there if you injure yourself, and you're responsible to, take care and take caution and make sure that you don't end up in that situation. I mean, there's a lot of ways that you can injure yourself. I mean, some of us, shave in the spot and you're outside in front of the truck. We don't even go inside. I mean, you cut yourself, there's so many things that can happen to you. Some people are allergic to like bee stings, you know what I mean? You could just be at a shipper out in the country somewhere and you just, go in the door and you wander into a bee's nest or a wasp nest and like, what are you gonna do? And that's one of the dangers of being out there on the road, but hopefully I'll be okay here. And I do want to shout out all you truck drivers who are out there, taking the risk every day and doing something good for the country. You know what I mean? I know that we don't get the same love that police officers, firefighters, we don't get that same love, you know what I mean? We don't get that hero status, you know what I mean? The same way, military members, police officers, firefighters do. And I'm not saying they don't deserve it, but for the truck drivers who've been around for a while, we do the same thing. We risk our health and our lives, and we're protecting the lives of others. Come on, truck drivers. That's what you're doing. You're sitting up high. You spend your whole day not trying to kill people, because people dive around and move all around you, and you don't get credit for it. That's what you do. You save lives. You do it every day, and nobody pats you on the back for it. So I know it's difficult, and then we're risking our health, and we're risking personal injury. So I appreciate all you guys, and I'll give you guys an update soon. I don't want to be here too long. I got to rest, and this anesthesia they gave me is going to wear out because it's still numb as heck right here. It's crazy numb. So I got some ibuprofen. I'm going to lay down in a bit. So appreciate y'all, and thanks for the comments there. I see the comments there, guys, but let me get off. I got to rest. I got to rest my eyes. So talk to you guys later.